Good morning. This is Andrea Leonard, president and founder of the Cancer Exercise Training Institute, and I am also a 34-year cancer survivor. I want to talk to you today about the kinetic chain as it applies to working with a client recovering from breast cancer surgery and perhaps radiation and reconstruction. We all know that the kinetic chain implies that every part of our body works together as it's connected through the spinal column. So if something in, let's say, the cervical discs are out of alignment, it could potentially affect the thoracic, the lumbar, down to the hips, knees, ankles, you name it. Everything works interdependently. Excuse me. So if somebody has undergone a mastectomy and there is they may have an incision horizontally here, or they may have one under their armpit from a lymph node dissection. What we often see is scar tissue and adhesions that draw the shoulders forward, and inevitably the head comes forward also. So think about this. For every inch the head is forward from what we consider norm, where the earlobes are lined up kind of in the mid-clavicle area, for every inch forward, that is the entire weight of the head, let's assume about 10 pounds, on the cervical vertebra. That's a lot of strain. And so you think about these people who complain that they have neck pain. Well, it stands to reason that you have to identify these muscle imbalances before we can minimize pain. And pain is oftentimes the result of an ongoing muscle spasm and the ischemia or the lack of blood flow to that area. So the majority of pain is not going to be from surgery itself. It may be in the immediate healing process, but down the road, it is probably from these muscle imbalances. So you must begin your sessions with any given client with a comprehensive postural analysis. And this is looking from the top of the body to the bottom, bottom to the top, front, back, and side, because there are certain things that you may view from the front that you can't see from the back, and so on and so forth. And this is a critical component of any exercise programming, whether you're working with a cancer survivor or an Olympic athlete. If you overlook this and you just randomly put together a program, it's highly likely that you are doing a disservice to your client, and they also won't get the results that you are looking for. So with a mastectomy, we often see excessive round shoulders from the scar tissue and adhesion that naturally draws the head forward, and that forward head, straining the cervical discs can cause neck pain, and then down the road may also very often lead to low back pain. Depending on where the reconstruction is, so for example, if they do an abdominal tram, there's going to be an incision from hip to hip. That's going to cause another imbalance. And then if they do a lat flap, they bring the lat from the back and bring it around to the front by tunneling it under the armpit. And that also, not only are you going to have an imbalance from side to side, but also from front to back, because now we have the lat here and we have the pec here. So that's going to draw this forward even more. And we don't have the stability and strength coming from the posterior shoulder now with the support of that lat. So it's really important that we isolate some of the smaller muscle groups in the posterior rotator cuff and the rhomboids, upper traps, everything around there, because doing an exercise that is going to fire the lat is not really going to serve us well, as the lat is now here. It's going to contract, it's going to relax, it will hypertrophy and atrophy just as it would if it was in its original location. So we know that if somebody's head is forward, we need to do things very simply like an isometric head retraction. So just having your client bring their head back into alignment, hold it for a couple seconds, of course, making sure they're breathing, because it will raise their blood pressure if they hold their breath, and then relax. And often I will suggest pressing against the car seat headrest, which feels so good as it releases all of this tension in the back of the neck. And you certainly don't have to have had breast cancer surgery to appreciate this stretch. The majority of us will have a lot of tension in our neck, and you'll feel great after doing this. Okay, then, to counter the tightness in the chest, we want to focus on strengthening the back and stretching the chest. So something like a chest fly, or just isometrically contracting the shoulder blades. If we do pushing exercises, that will exacerbate this forward motion, this round shoulderedness. So choose your exercises wisely. And then if you notice that they have a pelvic tilt, if somebody has had abdominal tram reconstruction, let me see if I can show you this, most likely they are going to be excessively lordotic. But this is following the surgery where they may be flexed forward to begin with. This is my dog, Kaya. She has to be in the picture here. So I just want you to visualize how you are going to correct these, because if they have excessive lordosis and an anterior tilt, is it because they have weak or no rectus abdominis muscles? Is it because their erector muscles and all of the stabilizing core musculature is working on overdrive? Or do they have tight hip flexors? So you have to proceed with the modified Thomas test to evaluate for tight hip flexors, tight quads, and what is the other thing? Oh, and looking for tight IT bands if the legs abduct. So I'm not going to go into a full-blown postural assessment, but I just wanted to give you a general idea of what to look for and how to correct these imbalances. And to leave you with one last thing, if somebody has winged scapula, so you notice that their shoulder blades are popping out in the back, following an axillary lymph node dissection, that is quite common because there can be damage to the long thoracic nerve that causes a ceasefire, temporary, but nonetheless a ceasefire to the serratus muscle. So think about exercises that will engage the serratus and once again to stabilize that shoulder girdle. You can find more information at thecancerspecialist.com, on my Facebook pages, Survivors Talk, CETI, and Cancer Exercise Training Institute Canada. And I'd love to see you at the Medical Fitness Tour, which is going to be in New Jersey at Rowan University in April. For more information, visit the Medical Fitness Tour at their website, and you can register there. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Take care. Bye.